The arrival, the galaxy was burning. For 3 long years, the war had raged across the stars. The Zarkon Empire and the Vrexian Alliance had turned dozens of star systems into graveyards. Fleets clashed, planets fell, millions died, and neither side would surrender. Today they fought in the Kronos sector, a region of space that held nothing but rocks and dust. But it was strategic. Whoever controlled Kronos would control the trade routes to half the galaxy. Commander Thrak of the Zarkon Empire stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Devastator. He was a massive creature, 8 feet tall with 4 arms and skin like dark metal. His red eyes watched the battle displays with satisfaction. Another Vrexian cruiser destroyed. "Commander," his tactical officer reported. Thrak's mouth twisted into what passed for a smile among his kind. "Good, push forward. Today we end this." On the opposite side of the battlefield, High Admiral Vexra of the Vrexian Alliance was not smiling. Her blue-scaled face showed concern as she studied her own tactical screens aboard the Eternal Dawn. The Vrexians were losing. Badly. "Admiral, we've lost 30% of our fleet," her second officer said, his voice tight with fear. "Should we retreat?" Vexra's silver eyes narrowed. "No, we hold this position. If we lose Kronos, we lose the war." The space between the two fleets was filled with fire and fury. Energy beams cut through the darkness. Missiles streaked like deadly shooting stars. Ships exploded in brilliant flashes that lasted only seconds before the cold void swallowed them. Then everything changed. "Commander!" The Zarkon sensor officer's voice cracked with alarm. "I'm detecting something." Thrak turned sharply. "What? Another Vrexian fleet?" "No, sir. I don't know what it is." A massive energy signature just appeared at the edge of the sector. On the Vrexian flagship, alarms were blaring. "Admiral! Unknown contact!" Vexra's tactical officer shouted. "It just appeared, no jump signature." "No warning." "It's just there." Vexra leaned forward. "Show me." The main screen changed. Both fleets stopped firing as every sensor, every telescope, every viewing screen turned toward the same point in space. There, emerging from the darkness like a ghost from nightmare, was a ship, but not just any ship. It was enormous, larger than any dreadnought in either fleet. Its hull was dark grey, almost black, with strange angular designs that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Blue energy pulsed along its surface in patterns that hurt to look at. The ship moved with a grace that something so massive should not possess. What is that?" Someone whispered on the Zarkon bridge. The sensor officer's hands shook as he checked his instruments. "Sir, I can't get a clear reading. It's blocking our scans somehow. But the power output, it's impossible. That ship is generating more energy than our entire fleet combined." Commander Thrak felt something he hadn't felt in decades. Fear. On the Vrexian flagship, the reaction was the same. "Run an identity scan," Vexra ordered. "Who does that ship belong to?" Her tactical officer worked frantically. Then he stopped. His face went pale. "Admiral, the markings on the hull. I think it's human." The bridge went silent. "Human." Vexra stood up slowly. "Are you certain?" "Yes, Admiral. I'm picking up the designation now. It's called the Defiance." Vexra sat back down heavily. Around her, the bridge crew began whispering. The name spread through the fleet channels like wildfire. The Defiance. Every advanced species in the galaxy knew that name. Commander Thrak's red eyes widened as his own crew identified the vessel. "No," he breathed. "It can't be. That ship is a legend. A story to scare young warriors, but it wasn't a story. It was real, and it was here." The massive human warship moved slowly forward, positioning itself directly between the two fleets. It said nothing, sent no message, just waited. On both sides, fingers hovered over weapons controls. But no one fired, because they all remembered. 50 years ago, the Zarkon Empire had made first contact with humanity. They had seen Earth's primitive ships and laughed. They had attacked a small human colony, expecting easy conquest. It had been the worst mistake in Zarkon history. What happened next was still taught in military academies across the galaxy as a lesson in humility, in terror, in respect. The humans had come, and when they were done, 10,000 Zarkon ships were nothing but debris floating in space. The Defiance had led that counterattack. Now it was here again, Commander. Thrak's hand slowly moved away from his weapons. Console High Admiral Vexra let out a breath she didn't know she'd been holding. The galaxy fell silent as humanity's warship entered the battlefield. No one dared to move because they all remembered what happened last time someone attacked Earth. The legend, the silence, stretched across space like a held breath, Commander. Thrak stared at the human warship on his screens. His four hands gripped the armrests of his command chair so tightly the metal began to bend. "Sir," his communications officer said quietly, "what are your orders?" Thrak didn't answer. His mind had traveled back 50 years, back to a day he would never forget. A day that still haunted his dreams. He had been young then, just a junior officer aboard the battlecruiser Dark Thunder. The Zarkon Empire was at the height of its power. They had conquered 40 star systems. No one could stand against them. Then they found Earth. The scout reports had been promising. The humans were a young species. Their technology was primitive. They had barely left their own star system. They would be easy to conquer, easy to enslave. Fleet Commander Grath had laughed when he saw the human ships. "Look at them," he had said. "They build their vessels out of metal and fuel, like children playing with toys." The Zarkon Armada had been massive, 5,000 warships, the largest invasion force ever assembled. They had sent a message to Earth, simple and direct: surrender or be destroyed. The humans had responded within an hour. Thrak still remembered the face on the screen. A human female with dark skin and cold eyes. She had worn a uniform with strange symbols on it. Her voice had been calm. Too calm. "This is Captain Sarah Chen of the Earth Defense Fleet," she had said. "You have entered our space without permission. You have threatened our people. Leave now. This is your only warning." Fleet Commander Grath had laughed so hard his entire body shook. "One warning?" He had roared. "We give you a warning, human. We are the Zarkon Empire. We have crushed species far more advanced than yours. You have one day to surrender. After that, we will take your planet by force." The human captain had stared at him for a long moment. Then she had said something that no one understood at the time. "You were warned." The transmission had ended. 24 hours later, the Zarkon fleet had moved to attack Earth. They had expected easy victory. They had expected the humans to run, to hide, to beg for mercy. Instead, the humans came to meet them. Thrak remembered the moment the human fleet appeared on their sensors. 300 ships. Only 300 against 5,000. "This will be over in minutes," Grath had said confidently. He had been right about the time, wrong about everything else. The battle had lasted 6 hours. When it was over, the Zarkon Armada was gone. Not defeated, not damaged, gone, completely destroyed, erased from existence. Of 5,000 ships, only 12 survived. Thrak's vessel had been one of them, only because his captain had ordered a retreat the moment he saw what the humans could do. What Thrak saw that day defied everything he knew about warfare. The human ships moved like nothing he had ever seen. They didn't just fly, they danced. Weapons that should have hit them missed by inches. Missiles that should have destroyed them were shot down before they could connect. And the human weapons. Thrak shuddered at the memory. One human ship had fired a single beam of blue light. Just one beam. It had cut through a Zarkon dreadnought like a knife through water. The massive warship, half a mile long, had simply split in half and exploded. Another human vessel had released what looked like small drones. Thousands of them. They had swarmed over Zarkon ships like insects, and everywhere they touched, metal melted. Entire vessels had dissolved in minutes, but the worst part, the part that truly terrified Thrak, was this. The humans held back. They could have destroyed all 5,000 ships in minutes. Thrak knew this because he had seen their flagship in action, the Defiance. That ship, the same ship now floating before him, had faced 1,000 Zarkon vessels alone. 1,000 of the Empire's best warships, all firing at once. The Defiance had activated some kind of shield. Every missile, every beam, every weapon had simply stopped, frozen in space around the ship like raindrops suspended in time. Then the Defiance had fired back, not with weapons, with something else. something the Zarkon scientists still didn't understand 50 years later. A wave of energy had pulsed out from the human ship. It had washed over the 1,000 Zarkon vessels like a gentle breeze. And every single ship had stopped working. Engines dead, weapons offline, life support failing. The crews had survived, but their ships were nothing but floating metal coffins. The Defiance had disabled 1,000 warships with a single shot. After that, Fleet Commander Grath had ordered a full retreat, but the humans hadn't let them run, not yet. Captain Sarah Chen's face had appeared on every Zarkon screen. Her expression hadn't changed. Still calm, still cold. "You were warned," she had said again. "Go back to your empire. Tell them what happened here. Tell them that Earth is protected. Tell them that if any Zarkon ship ever enters human space again, we will not stop at your fleet. We will not stop at your colonies. We will come to your homeworld, and we will end your empire forever." She had paused, letting the words sink in. "You have one day to leave our space. If you are still here after that, none of you will leave alive." The 12 surviving Zarkon ships had jumped to faster-than-light speed immediately. They hadn't stopped running until they were 3 star systems away. Thrak had returned to the Empire a broken officer. He had nightmares for years, but he had also learned a valuable lesson. Humans didn't bluff. The Empire had sent spies to learn more about Earth after that disaster. What they discovered was almost as terrifying as the battle itself. Humans were not a peaceful species. They had spent 10,000 years fighting each other, wars that made Zarkon conflicts look like children's games. They had created weapons that could destroy entire planets. They had split the atom, harnessed nuclear fire, built machines that could think. And then they had stopped, not because they were weak, because they chose to be better. For 200 years before meeting the Zarkons, humanity had been at peace. They had focused on science, on art, on building a better future, but they hadn't forgotten how to fight. When threatened, every human remembered. 10,000 years of warfare, 10,000 years of survival. It was in their blood, in their bones. One Zarkon philosopher had said it best: humans are not warriors, they are survivors, and that makes them far more dangerous. Now, 50 years after that terrible battle, the Defiance was here again. Commander Thrak looked at his weapons officer. The young Zarkon's hand hovered over the firing controls. "Sir?" the officer asked. "Do we attack?" Thrak thought about the 3 years of war with the Vrexians. He thought about his pride, his duty. Then he thought about that day 50 years ago. He thought about 5,000 ships reduced to scrap metal in 6 hours. He thought about Captain Sarah, Chen's cold eyes and colder promise. "No," Thrak said quietly. "We wait. We see what they want." Across the battlefield, High Admiral Vexra was making the same decision. The 2 fleets held their positions, weapons armed but not firing, and the Defiance simply floated between them. Silent and patient, waiting, the negotiation for 10 long minutes. Nothing happened. 2 massive fleets faced each other across the void of space. Between them, the human warship waited like a sleeping giant. Its dark hull reflected no light. Its weapons remained silent, but everyone could feel its power. On the Zarkon flagship, Commander Thrak's crew whispered nervously among themselves. "Why don't they say something?" his tactical officer asked. "They are making us wait," Thrak replied. "They want us to understand who is in control here." He was right. Suddenly, every screen on every ship in both fleets flickered. Communication channels that had been closed for 3 years of war suddenly opened. A single transmission broadcast to everyone. A face appeared. It was a human woman. Her skin was darker now, lined with age. Her hair was white instead of black. But her eyes were the same. Cold, calm, unafraid. "This is Captain Sarah Chen of the Earth defense ship, the Defiance," she said. Her voice was quiet, but it carried absolute authority. "I am speaking to both the Zarkon Empire and the Vrexian Alliance." On his bridge, Thrak felt his blood turn cold. It was her, the same captain from 50 years ago. Humans didn't live that long naturally. She must have used their advanced medical technology to extend her life. She was a legend, a nightmare, and she was here. "For 3 years you have fought in this sector," Captain Chen continued. "Thousands of ships destroyed, millions of lives lost. And for what? control of empty space and rocks. High Admiral Vexra straightened in her chair aboard the Vrexian flagship. "Captain Chen," she said, her voice steady despite her fear. "With respect, this is not Earth's concern. This is a matter between our people and the Zarkon Empire." Captain Chen's expression didn't change. "It became our concern when your war started affecting human trade routes. It became our concern when debris from your battles damaged 3 civilian human ships. It became our concern when both of you sent ambassadors to Earth asking us to join your war." She paused. "We said no to both of you. Humans don't take sides in other species' conflicts. We believe every race has the right to solve their own problems." Commander Thrak felt a small hope rise in his chest. Perhaps the humans were only here to observe. Perhaps they wouldn't interfere. Then Captain Chen's eyes hardened. "But we will not allow your war to threaten human lives. Not directly, not indirectly, not ever." The hope died. "So here is what will happen," Captain Chen said. "Both of you will power down your weapons. Both of you will withdraw your fleets. And both of you will agree to peace negotiations on neutral ground." Thrak's 4 hands clenched. How dare she? The Zarkon Empire did not take orders from anyone. "And if we refuse?" he asked, his voice a low growl. Captain Chen looked directly at him through the screen. It felt like she could see into his soul. "Then I will stop this war myself," she said simply. Admiral Vexra leaned forward. "Captain, we respect Earth's power. We all know what happened 50 years ago. But surely you understand we cannot simply abandon our position. We have lost too much. Our people demand victory. Your people demand survival," Captain Chen replied. "Victory is meaningless if everyone is dead." Thrak slammed one of his fists on his armrest. "You cannot threaten both of us. Even your ship, powerful as it is, cannot fight 2 entire fleets at once." For the first time, Captain Chen smiled. It was not a pleasant smile, can't I? She touched something off screen. The view changed. Every ship in both fleets suddenly saw the same data on their tactical displays. Power readings, weapon capabilities, shield strength. The Defiance was showing them everything, and what they saw made no sense. "That can't be right," Thrak's sensor officer whispered. "Those numbers, they're impossible." But they were real. The Defiance carried enough firepower to destroy both fleets 3 times over. Its shields could withstand anything short of a supernova. Its engines could outrun anything in the galaxy, and most terrifying of all, the data showed it was operating at only 30% capacity. This wasn't even the ship's full power. "How?" Admiral Vexra breathed. "How is this possible?" 50 years of advancement," Captain Chen said. "While you fought each other, humanity kept building, kept improving. We learn from every encounter, we adapt, we evolve." She leaned back in her chair. "This is not a threat. This is a fact. I can end this battle in 60 seconds. I can disable every ship here without destroying them, without killing anyone. Your crews will survive. Your ships will not." Thrak felt rage building inside him. He had spent 3 years fighting the Vrexians. He had lost friends, comrades. His own brother had died in the 2nd year of the war, and now this human wanted him to just stop. "And if we refuse?" he asked, his voice a low growl. Captain Chen looked directly at him through the screen. It felt like she could see into his soul. "Then I will stop this war myself," she said simply. Admiral Vexra leaned forward. "Captain, we respect Earth's power. We all know what happened 50 years ago. But surely you understand we cannot simply abandon our position. We have lost too much. Our people demand victory. Your people demand survival," Captain Chen replied. "Victory is meaningless if everyone is dead." Thrak slammed one of his fists on his armrest. "You cannot threaten both of us. Even your ship, powerful as it is, cannot fight 2 entire fleets at once." For the first time, Captain Chen smiled. It was not a pleasant smile, can't I? She touched something off-screen. The view changed. Every ship in both fleets suddenly saw the same data on their tactical displays. Power readings, weapon capabilities, shield strength. The Defiance was showing them everything, and what they saw made no sense. "That can't be right," Thrak's sensor officer whispered. "Those numbers, they're impossible." But they were real. The Defiance carried enough firepower to destroy both fleets 3 times over. Its shields could withstand anything short of a supernova. Its engines could outrun anything in the galaxy, and most terrifying of all, the data showed it was operating at only 30% capacity. This wasn't even the ship's full power. How? Admiral Vexra breathed. How is this possible? 50 years of advancement, Captain Chen said. While you fought each other, humanity kept building, kept improving. We learn from every encounter, we adapt, we evolve. She leaned back in her chair. This is not a threat. This is a fact. I can end this battle in 60 seconds. I can disable every ship here without destroying them, without killing anyone. Your crews will survive. Your ships will not. Thrak felt rage building inside him. He had spent 3 years fighting the Vrexians. He had lost friends, comrades. His own brother had died in the second year of the war, and now this human wanted him to just stop. His pride wouldn't allow it. His honor demanded he fight. No, he said. The Zarkon Empire does not surrender. Not to the Vrexians, and not to Earth. His weapons officer looked at him with wide eyes. Sir, are you sure? I am sure. Thrak roared. We are warriors. We do not bow to threats. He pointed at the screen showing Captain Chen's face. You want to stop this war? Then you will have to go through us first. On the Vrexian bridge, Admiral Vexra watched this exchange with growing horror. She had hoped Thrak would be reasonable. She had hoped both sides could avoid confronting the humans, but Zarkon pride was legendary. And legendary stupidity often came with it. Captain Chen's expression didn't change. She simply nodded slowly. I was hoping you would choose peace, she said, but I prepared for this possibility. She touched her control panel again. All Zarkon vessels, this is your last chance. Any ship that powers down its weapons now will not be engaged. You have 30 seconds. Thrak's tactical officer turned to him. Commander, please. We saw what they did 50 years ago. This is suicide. Silence. Thrak commanded. We will show these humans that the Zarkon Empire has no fear. He turned to his weapons officer. Target the Defiance. All ships. Full weapons spread. Fire on my command. His bridge crew hesitated. But they were soldiers. They followed orders. Across the Zarkon fleet, weapon systems powered up. Energy signatures spiked. Missile tubes loaded. Admiral Vexra made her decision quickly. All Vrexian ships power down weapons immediately. This is a direct order. We will not engage. Her fleet complied instantly. The Vrexians were many things, but they weren't foolish enough to fight humans. Thrak saw the Vrexians surrender and felt contempt. Cowards. All of them. He raised one of his hands. All Zarkon vessels, he announced. Fire. 3,000 Zarkon ships opened fire simultaneously. Missiles by the thousands streaked through space. Energy beams bright enough to blind filled the darkness. Plasma torpedoes, kinetic rounds. Every weapon in the Zarkon arsenal unleashed at once, all targeted at the Defiance. The human ship was swallowed by explosions. Fire and light consumed it. The blast was so bright it could be seen from planet's 3 systems away. For 5 seconds, the bombardment continued. 5 seconds of absolute destruction. Then Thrak raised his hand again. Ceasefire. The weapon stopped. Silence returned. Everyone stared at their screens, waiting for the fire and smoke to clear. Slowly, the debris from the explosions drifted away, and there, exactly where it had been before, sat the Defiance, not a scratch on its hull. Not a dent, not a burn mark. Nothing. It was as if the most powerful attack in Zarkon history had been nothing more than a gentle breeze. On the human ship's bridge, Captain Sarah Chen hadn't even flinched during the attack. She had simply watched her screens, waiting. Now she spoke again. Her voice was colder than the void of space. You were warned, she said. She pressed a single button. It was the last mistake you will ever make.